3. I'm bringing it down. Glimmer on the horizon. It is not all despair, though. There is a glimmer on the horizon. The constitutional review process presents us with a golden opportunity to change the narrative and to get things effectively and efficiently working. We should transform the Constitution by weaving anti-corruption concepts and institutions tightly into its outlook and reach. And I am so glad that the chairman of the Constitution Review Commission is my reviewer. Professor, this is directly to you and your team. And right thereupon, after doing that, we should build on that framework a robust and pragmatic wave of statutory detail to give firm effect to the constitutional provisions to render corrupt activities high risk and ultra costly and unattractive enterprises. To do this, 4 truisms must guide this exercise. First, it must be borne in mind that the law always appears to be a step behind criminal innovation. And as technological advancement ushers in marvels hitherto unknown, perpetrators of corruption devise sophisticated ways adapted to avoid detection. Second, it should occur to everyone here that truth is always the first casualty in any criminal inquiry. Those who engage in grand corruption are wealthy. They possess the means and the wherewithal to mount formidable campaigns of misinformation and truth distortion. They also pose a real and present danger to anti-corruption officials through intimidation, open threats, and actual harm, even to the point of killing. Third, corrupt activities are the most difficult to prove, as they are carried out in stealth, and the state of mind accompanying such acts are often unclear. Fourth, corruption prevention is preferable to after-the-fact models of fighting corruption. This is because it is more productive and cost-effective. Better to prevent the outbreak of a stitch than to seek to sow it after it ensues. Upon this foundation, we must situate the fight against corruption in a comprehensive philosophical context. The lecturer in me is coming out. By this, I mean that we should examine the regime from an introspective reflection. Are we doing this because we believe it is the right thing to do? And will it produce the best results or consequences? On this call, we have to conceptualize anti-corruption legal concepts in a fundamental manner. That is, a review of the historical, philosophical, linguistic, economic, social, and political implications of law. Only then will the anti-corruption quest have real meaning as being firmly secured by law. This is because what may work in other jurisdictions may spectacularly fail here, and what may amount to corruption in other parts of the world may not necessarily fit in our worldview. So, Professor, a great starting point should be the reckoning that gift giving is ritualistic in our society. It is always difficult to distinguish between the lawful and the unlawful when it comes to gift giving in Ghana. And so when the bystander lends a hand to assist you to lift the side of your vehicle that is hanging over a gutter, he expects you to show appreciation by giving him a token cash sum. Well, these days, the bystander will actually demand the cash and may probably verbally abuse you if it does not forthcome. It didn't used to be the case, but now that is it. Professor, as you are reviewing the Constitution, it should also occur to you that in some of our traditions, and as recognized by our courts, where a person is gifted valuable property by a donor during the lifetime of the donor, the donee is expected to present a symbolic gift as aseda in acceptance of the gift. Who does that? we do that in Ghana. It's perfectly acceptable and has been blessed by the courts. Indeed, the absence of the symbolic gift in acceptance of the valuable property may, in some cases, render the gift ineffective and be subject to contention. If you were indeed gifted this by your grandfather during his lifetime, did you present asida? Ritualistic gift giving. Then again, in some of our traditions, a notification of bereavement will be you are notifying an important person and inviting that person to the impending funeral. Sometimes you are required, if you are smart enough, to accompany the notification of the bereavement and the invitation to this important person, schnapps and a symbolic cash sum. This signifies several things. For instance, it may signify the premium you place on your departed relative. It may also signify that the person you are informing of the bereavement and inviting to the funeral is highly regarded by you and your family, as well as an indication of the funeral donation you expect from the invited person. So you give the snap, you put a cash sum on it, just a notice to the person you are informing and inviting to the funeral. Do as I have done in multiples. This is our society. All I'm saying is that our society is one of promise for promise, gift for gift, give and take, and live and let live. This should guide our anti-corruption constructs, not what the white man tells us. Citizens view anti-corruption law enforcement institutions as largely hemmed in by political marginalization, and thus part of the problem. This is because citizens perceive a high incidence of impunity among the elite, as they should, and that corruption investigations will invariably amount to nothing and yield no consequences. I do not blame them. Further, citizens view those in authority as a problem, and they are quick to condemn corrupt acts attendant upon official acts, as they should. Yet, citizens play a significant role in the problem through acts of open support for official corruption and sometimes participation in same. Given the Ghana Institution of Engineering lecture about 2 years ago, I said this, that on another score, not too infrequently, the public decries the state's longevity and quality of our infrastructure. Why do we not have the best infrastructure as they do in some places? The citizen ponders. Why are our roads so bad? The motorist asks. This stretch of road was constructed just 2 years ago. Why has it developed craters for potholes already? He quizzes further. Whoever designed this roundabout or intersection does certainly live on another planet, a bystanding observer muses. Whose idea was it to design and fit such a closed-up claustrophobic casket of an elevator in such a huge and busy public building? A visitor fumes. Whoever designed the approaches and accesses to this building is certainly not a friend of disabled persons. Another visitor contemplates. We hear like complaints daily. We see the sources of the frustration and grumbling all around us. Professor, we may attribute some of these defaults to the poverty question. After all, if we had a wherewithal, we could insist on the very best and will not have to sort of beat back on the designs and construction of projects. We may not be inclined to output and accept the not so very best in that regard. And so, we may link some of the sources of the public consternation to the maintenance question, the lack of it, I mean, which in itself is likely an offshoot of the poverty question. Or we may trace it to our collective attitudes, if I may ask. From where I sit as a special prosecutor, poverty notwithstanding, I place these ills firmly at the door of corruption and state capture. They beget our poverty, which further begets more corruption. It is a poverty trap. We have to spring out of it. to meaningfully develop. Simply put, we have managed to build for ourselves a solid culture of illegal and unfair gain, and it is strangling us.
21 billion 2,660,270 pesos. That is what is on record as now. Mr. Speaker, I must put on record. Can you take the number figures again? 21 billion 2,660,270 cedis and 52 pesos. The breakdown of this debt is as follows. Consolidated fund projects, 15 billion 339,887,294 cedis and 92 pesos. Ghana Road Fund projects, 5,662,772,975 cedis and 60 pesos. These pending debts cover payment certificates from 2018 to 2024. It is worth noting that these debts do not include interest accrued to delayed payment. And Mr. Speaker, on record, the interest on delayed payment can go as high as 50% or even 100% on some of the projects. In November 2019, 1.2 billion was borrowed from syndicated banks to finance the road maintenance. However, the Ghana Road Fund still owe contractors bills dating as far back as 2018, some as low as 2,000 Ghana cedis. At the close of 2024, outstanding commitment in the road sector representing unexecuted contracts segments were estimated at 103 billion and 500 million. Exclusive of adjustments for variations on contracts which are yet to be agreed. The sector is further challenged by numerous contracts awarded with insufficient financial planning, often lacking the mandatory commencement warrant as stipulated by the Public Financial Management Act.